There's so much stuff that should be in a base game that I feel like the Sims team just doesn't do. They just leave so much out. They go such empty base games, and then they go, here's a DLC, pay this, pay that to complete your game. And it's like, no, these are things that should be included. Oh man, it feels so good to be back. I have been literally dying. Like, it has been so bad. I did not realize that my cold turned into laryngitis, and I literally had no voice for like 3 or 4 days. I couldn't talk at all. So I'm back. There's a lot to catch up on. There's a lot that I want to talk about. And this actually just came out a couple of minutes ago. My voice is finally back enough to where I feel comfortable making videos again. So we have a Life by You update. This was published 2 minutes ago. This is almost 6 minutes. We have a tour of the town in Life by You. So let's see what this is giving here.
Hi everyone, it's Rocio, Community Manager with Life by You, and I'm here to walk you through a tour of the town today. A usual Community Manager disclaimer up top. We do have a lot of stuff in progress right now as we try to fix up elements of the game, so until we get some of that sorted, we wanted to show you some more general stuff, including the tour of the town, editors, we'll show you some lots, that kind of stuff.
I'm still like just so excited about the fact that we now have a 3-dimensional map view and we can move around the world. I'm sorry, like I miss that. Oh, I loved that about The Sims 3. I really missed that. And you know what's funny is that even though The Sims 2 was closed world, we had the same thing for that too. There was a map view and you could actually move your camera around it, you know, to click on lots. It wasn't just a single picture with cartoon lots. Like even The Sims 2 kind of like excelled in that department. But I want to go back because there was like a little disclaimer thing on here and I didn't get a chance to read it. This is our world as of August 2023. We will continue to improve and share the world with you over the next few months. So there are a lot of updates and improvements coming. I don't know why I mentioned this in my last video about Life by You, but a lot already looks different with this. Like there's something with the colors and the lighting that looks so different now than it did before, but also this water texture is like really weird. Clearly they're still working on it, but everything just looks different than it was when they first announced and revealed it. So you can definitely tell that they're still working on things. They're still changing things and improving things. And I don't know, maybe this is just me, but even like the little character people, like the humans, the avatars, whatever they're calling them, they look a little different here too. Is it just me or do they look a little more cartoony here? I mean, either way, that's something that I hope they go more of in terms of artistic direction, but they just look a little different here too. But hey, I'm all here for them changing and improving things. Of course, the UI, it looks amazing. All right, let's continue.
Some more general stuff, including the tour of the town, editors, we'll show you some lots, that kind of stuff. I also want to note that I have my vegetation distance settings set in a way that allows for really smooth gameplay, so you'll notice the vegetation pop in and out, and depending on your computer, you may want to set that lower or higher. Now let's get started. So let's go ahead and start at the edge of the map.
Okay, so I like that. Be transparent. There's a setting in the settings menu to adjust how much vegetation is going to load in and out of your game, I guess depending on how zoomed in or zoomed out you are. Pretty sure The Sims 3 had a similar setting, and that's a great setting to have because not everyone's going to be playing this game on a beast of a desktop PC. Some people are going to have laptops, some people are going to have low-end laptops. So this is going to give a lot of flexibility for those players that are running on, you know, weaker machines so that they can play the game and have a good experience as well. So we love that.
You're going to see some familiar locations in this video, but hopefully this will give you a better lay of the land on where everything is in town. And here you see me regretting my starting location, so let me just go ahead and set that in the right spot.
I like the colors. I don't know what they did. They changed it. Like, look at the grass. It's so luscious. Like, and I love that like shade of green, that tone. It just feels very real. There's a lot of like dynamics with the colors. So I guess it feels like this is like high dynamic range almost, you know, like if you watch a movie in HDR, you can notice there's more variation with the colors. I'm getting that here. Like it just looks so much better than it looked months ago when we first started seeing, you know, the world and the environment and all of that stuff.
So here we are at the edge of the world. I'm going to place us on the road and let's just take a quick tour through the hills. Following the road, you can kind of tell that this is countryside. Once you get past the hills, you make it to the vineyards. You can see the bus taking a turn here. I think Rod mentioned this in a previous video, but we have a couple of bus stops around town and you can add your own as well.
You guys, I'm loving this. It's so beautiful. I don't know, it's just so cool that we have the ability to do this, just move around a whole world, like a whole open world. This game is gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm happy they delayed it. I would rather there be a better product, but of course, part of me is still sad because I want to play it like now and I can't, you know?
This entire area of the map is pretty open and available for you to build on if you want to build on any of this land, or you can just leave it and leave a nice scenic area for your humans.
Not the avatar being Max Martin. That's the producer, right? The music producer. Also, we have seen before the way that you can kind of just place down lots literally anywhere. So like if you wanted to, I guess you could place a lot down in that field on those bushes. You could just place a lot there and you have a lot there. There's no more, oh my God, we're stuck with 7 lots in this world. We have to make do. Boy, you could put a lot anywhere you want. And that is the customization and the freedom that we need in a life simulation game. Mind you, in 2023, it is 2023. Enough with the limitations. We need that in like every game. I know in The Sims 3, it was a very similar fashion. You could go into like the world editor and you can place down lots, but of course it had to be alongside a road. And I'm pretty sure when we saw them do it before in Life by You in one of the like previews a couple of months ago, I don't think they placed a lot along the road. I think they kind of just stuck it out, you know, away from the road, and you still were able to place it down, which I thought was really amazing.
Let's continue down our road trip through town. Just past the countryside and the vineyards, you'll find that there's a rest stop. This is to make sure that if your human has any needs that need to be fulfilled while you're out here, don't worry, there's somewhere for you to go.
I like that. That's cool. Gotta take a dump? You got a place to stop to do so. So you don't have to come into town and stop at the coffee shop.
Towards more of the downtown area, we have another rest stop here, and you can kind of see the general layout of this side of town. Let's take a quick look at where we came from so you can get a feel for where everything is and how far it is from each other. Next on the tour, we have a park, which you might recognize from our nature video. The team is a huge fan of nature, flowers, and we really have a lot of fun putting these together. And now onto these lots on the right over here. You might recognize this one. Let me just get a good look at it. But this is the food mart, which we covered in our food mart lot tour. And right next to it, you might recognize the car dealership from last week's video. Let's zag a little bit to one of the cafes.
The car dealership was really cool. Oh my God, look at the beach. Oh, I love that. There's a volleyball net. I see some boats out there. Are there surfboards too on that stand? I can't really tell. Very cute, very cute. So as far as the car dealership, I loved it. I just really hope there's people that actually work there. I hope there's people that we can talk to, and I hope there's people that, you know, we can ask questions to, and maybe they can even convince us to buy cars or give us information. Like, I want to see workers, like salespeople, because it didn't seem like there were any, at least from my knowledge.
Here you see Main Street Cafe, and if we zig back, you'll find one of the office buildings in Life by You called Pillar Financial, just within walking distance for lunch. For all of the tourists that come to town, there's Seaside Gifts just by the beach. Next to that, we have Seaside Styles for all of your wardrobe needs. And across the street from that, we have Vanity Salon.
They did something. I'm not crazy, right? This looks better than it did a couple of months ago. Just like the graphics, the colors, something, the textures, all of it. I don't know. Something just looks so different, and I can't pin what it is, but it looks better. It's not like it looks more realistic. It just doesn't look as flat. Like, it just looks more vibrant and full of life. I don't know.
Continuing down the row of businesses, you might recognize the Ivy Lounge from when Rod was playing, and next to that, another office building, Beachside Offices. Right next door is another familiar building, the Lotus Gym. We are working on the time change transition right now, so before we get into the residential, a quick cut. You might recognize some of these houses from previous videos. Please feel free to ignore my double house, I was testing something. And let's continue our tour with the Copus offices.
I'm kind of confused. Did you guys just see how everything just became like a bright purple out of nowhere on the screen? She mentioned like a time change, but I didn't really understand what that was. Hold on, let me read this. This is a temporary lighting transition as we continue to improve our visuals. Okay, so that's not a final thing. I was wondering what she was referring to. That was kind of sudden, you know?
Time change transition right now, so before we get into the residential, a quick cut. You might recognize some of these houses from previous videos. Please feel free to ignore my double house, I was testing something. And let's continue our tour with the Copus offices. Here's a quick preview at one of the lots we're currently working on, the Boho Boutique Hotel. Again with some primetime placement because it's just across the street from the Honeymoon Restaurant and the Itty Bitty Bistro.
This is so cool. Wait, so this hotel, you're telling me that we're gonna have functional hotels? Like, will we be able to stay at these, or will other humans be able to stay at these hotels? And also the restaurants, will we be able to sit down and order? I'm assuming so because we saw that in a previous video where you could actually, you know, get food. And it's like, these are all things that I hate comparing it to The Sims, but it's going to happen. Okay, guys, we're gonna be comparing life simulation games. It's going to happen. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry, get over it. But I'm gonna be doing it a lot, and I will continue to do it. These are things that with The Sims would be put into packs, would be put into DLCs, and would be separated and, you know, have a price put on it. But we're getting all of these things included in the base game, you know? Like, we still don't have hotels in The Sims 4. And it looks like that's kind of something, even though it probably isn't super fleshed out, still like a base feature that's going to be a part of the game at launch. I have so much respect for them for giving us what seems to be a lot of stuff. You know, we've already seen the laundry bits in previous videos, like there goes laundry day. You know, it's like there's so much stuff that should be in a base game that I feel like the Sims team just doesn't do. They just leave so much out. They give us such empty base games, and then they go, here's a DLC, pay this, pay that to complete your game. And it's like, no, these are things that should be included.
This seems like a great time to remind you all, though, that if you don't like the placement of any of these lots, you can go ahead and just pick them up and move them. So we can't wait until other people show us their town tours, honestly.
That's the best part. Like, no one's town is going to be the same. No one's town, well, I mean, they could be the same if you don't move anything, but you have the option to make your town different. Like, yeah, in The Sims 4, you can build different lots, you can put down stuff from the gallery, but the actual lots themselves, the squares, you can't move those. Every single lot is going to be in the same exact place in the world, and every single person that is playing The Sims 4 is going to have the same number of lots in every single world. Period, point blank. There's nothing that's changing about that. And it's like, what's cool with this is that every person can have a different number of lots or placed in different areas, and it just creates so much variation. And honestly, yeah, we probably will get new worlds, different worlds for this game, but I feel less of a need, less of a desire to have new worlds or have a new world come out because we can customize so much with the one that we have. Like, I'm not gonna need 8 million worlds because I get bored of one. I could just make the world different in another save file compared to a different save file that I have, you know? I think that is so freaking cool. Placing lots in different areas or placing either more lots or less lots. Like, the fact that you can do that is amazing. And, you know, there is a note here. You can rename, modify, delete, or create all the lots in the world. Like, there are so many possibilities here. Like, you can make a bunch of little lots right next to each other, right along this strip across the street where it's currently empty. You know, you can make that unique. I love that.
So this is the general feel for this neighborhood and how it's laid out. As you might have gathered from the names, this is the beach side of town. So this is where you would get the properties that are like beachside real estate. In case anyone is wondering, we do not have a job called beach. And with that, it's time to head to the other side of town. Let me just pull up the map and plot out our route here. This part of town is a little bit north of the part we were just looking at. So let's go ahead and head northeast and around so that we get a nice scenic view.
I'm not shaking my head because I don't like it. I'm shaking my head because this is amazing and I can't believe we have something like this. It's so cool how we have one part of town, you know, the beach area that was just described, and then you have this whole little town up north, and you gotta like go on these windy roads and go over these bridges and, you know, travel quite a distance to get there. It just gives that sense of size. It feels realistic. Not everything is just going to be in one little area, little spread out areas, and you gotta travel between them. This is what I love.
Let's just follow this path along, and let me just find the perfect angle so that you can hopefully see the layout a little bit better. As I'm moving along the path, I'm using a couple of different controls here, including the standard WASD as well as my mouse to pivot and orient myself. So we just moved up along the river.
Oh, did you guys see those reflections on the water? I got it right there. Look at those reflections. Beautiful.
So we just moved up along the river, and crossing this bridge, you'll find the other section of town.
And look at this. You have to travel quite a ways. Of course, if you have a car, you could probably go on bike or skateboard, but it'll probably take a little longer. But it's like, now you have a whole little different section of town. It's just this secluded small town away from everything else, but you're still a part of everything. You can travel there. Other people can travel up. No loading screens for that. It's all part of the same world. It just gives this realistic feeling that just is missing in The Sims, at least The Sims 4.
Much like the other section of town, there's a mixture of both residential buildings and business buildings on this side of town.
Oh my god, I love the look at the shadows of the trees on this road right here. You can see the sun is setting for the day, and oh, it looks beautiful.
This side, especially along the river, are one floor houses, so if you're trying to build up a house or trying to work your way towards a nicer house, this is a good starting zone. Now for some of the businesses. So here you can see the Sweet Salon and the Chic Boutique for those who are looking to shop. Right next door, you have the Boutique Hotel. So on this side of town, your tourists have somewhere to stay as well. Right behind the Boutique Hotel, there's a whole park area.
That is so cute. Look at this area. Oh, there's benches, little places to sit, fountains and trees. Also, yeah, they definitely did something with the lighting. It just looks so much better. Like, I don't know if they like rebaked it or if it's a different lighting engine or they have just different values for lumens and stuff, but it's beautiful.
Let me try to get you some good angles of this park so that you can see. Oh nice, I never noticed that ivy growing behind that building. And zooming out a little bit, I got a little too close there. And that is the park. I'm pretty sure that's another house over here, so let's keep going. On this side of the street, you will find the Cozy Up Cafe as well as the Acorn offices so that you can work and get your caffeine fix in.
I love that. You can also see here, notice how it's getting later in the day. It's starting to get dark. Look at the brightness. Like, look at how the darker areas are darker and the areas that have lights are pretty bright. There's more of a contrast with that, and that is making this look so much better. I feel like the night times look better now than they did a couple of months ago, so definitely a lot of improvements there for sure.
Down the road, you find the Friendly Food Mart, so that you have a grocery store if you live on this side of the river as well. And one more cut for the time transition. We're about to hit nighttime. Let's finish out the tour with a nice nighttime look at these houses up in the hills.
I will say, I really hope that, obviously she said that, you know, they're working on time transitions and all of that stuff, but I really hope that the final product is something very smooth. Like, I don't want to see sudden flashing or sudden changes. Like, that's one thing I hate about The Sims 2. You know, when it hits 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., it just goes light, dark. I hate that. It's so immersion breaking. And it wasn't necessarily like that here, but with what they're working on, there was a lot of like flashing and sudden changing. I just hope that it's extremely smooth and gradual. Like, this looks so good. So good. You guys, I'm blown away. I think this is beautiful. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Hotels in the base game, that's amazing. It really seems like we can develop the entire town. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, what? Hotels? Like, we still don't even have that in The Sims 4. And it's been almost a decade now at this point. I do have to wrap up this video. I can start feeling my voice going now again because I've been talking so much and haven't really had any water. But this is literally what I'm saying right here. Huge world. The lighting looks better. It's more clear, less bloom. The shadows, that's what I'm saying. It's so different and I love it. Yeah, definitely the water. I hope that the water is looked into. I did not like the way that like the reflections of the waves looked. It was kind of just like like a repeating pattern. It looked like a bunch of little like squares, if you know what I'm saying here. I'm gonna go and find a point in the video where you can really see it. It's more so at the beginning. Yeah, it's like just a bunch of little like of the same pattern shape, just repeated. Yeah, not the biggest fan of that, but that's really like one of the only critiques that I can have right now. Share your thoughts below. This is amazing, guys. I love you. Of course, if there's any more news, info, video clips, tours, whatever they do, I'm going to react to it, show you guys, bring it to you right here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and happy life simming.